Okay, I'm gonna do 2 lessons in one video because I didn't send home the dot grid paper with you guys. I didn't look as closely as I probably should have at that assignment for Unit 6, Lesson 7, which was comparing area and perimeter. So you probably got really confused when you saw this type of worksheet and on the very first direction says on a centimeter dot grid, and I didn't send you that. So I'm just gonna quickly show you what they're referring to by comparing area and comparing perimeter on this little sheet, and then you will have a little like practice assignment on that on Freckle, so I can see if it's making sense to you guys, if it's something we need to cover further, or if it's just way simpler concept than it's making it look on that workbook page. Okay, so with rectangles, you can compare area and you can compare perimeter. So they're not comparing them all together in one rectangle or square or anything, but it just wants you to be able to look at rectangles and say, oh, this one's taller, so it must take up more area, or it must have a larger perimeter than another one just because it's taller, or something like that. Kind of like when you have like 2 glasses, if you were to have a little coffee mug sitting on the table, and then you pour it into like a skinnier to-go cup. It looks like the to-go cup's bigger because it's taller, but it really isn't. So it's kind of the same idea there. Okay, so I've drawn 3 quadrilaterals on this page. They're all rectangles, and we're gonna look at sizing and comparing. I didn't draw them to scale because I don't have a ruler with me, just in examples of what we would do. So this one and this one, I'm gonna call them 1 and 2, have the same perimeter. So even though they look totally different shapes, the perimeter, remember, is adding up all the sides, which I've done here. So even though they look totally different, they have the same distance around. So say someone had a yard where they just had a tiny bit before the front sidewalk, but they still wanted to fence it in for their dog or something. So they could maybe only go out 2 yards here, 6 yards here, and back, so they only need, I'm just saying yards instead of inches, so they only need like 16 yards of fence, okay? But then you go to another person's backyard that they want to fence in, and they have, it looks like a bigger area, which it actually is, but it's the same amount of fence that would go around the outside. So just because it's different shapes doesn't mean they can't have the same perimeters, okay? So this one, we added 6 and 6 because that's the top and bottom lengths, and then 2 and 2 because that's the side lengths. So 6 plus 6 is 12, 2 plus 2 is 4, so I added those together to get 16 inches for my perimeter around this rectangle. That's the distance around that rectangle. Then this one here, it is a square, which remember is a type of rectangle. So I know that if I know 2 of the side lengths, or even just 1 if it's a square, I know all 4 of them. So I added 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 to get 16, which is the exact same thing as adding 6 and 6 and 2 and 2. So it's different ways to get to the same number. So even though they look totally different, they can have the same perimeter. So when it's asking you to compare, it's just asking you to simply just do the math and see if one's greater than, less than, equal to, because just because it looks bigger doesn't mean it's going to be bigger. Okay, and then so here I'm going to write comparing perimeter. Okay, then I'm going to go from, let's see which ones are equal here. From this one down around to number 3, I'm going to write comparing area. And remember, area is how much space or area the shape takes up. So both of these have 12 square inch areas, okay? So both this rectangle up here and this one down here. They have different dimensions, but no matter what, you can just multiply length by width to find area, which I did here. So 3 times 4 will get me to 12 square inches. And then up here, 2 times 6 will get me to 12 square inches. I can make another rectangle that could be long and skinny like this. So that could be 1 times 12, which would equal 12 square inches, okay? And then the perimeter, I would have to add 1 and 1, and then 12 and 12. Okay, so that perimeter would be the biggest of all of them if you come back into it. So it's just showing that there's different ways to draw rectangles that can have the same area or perimeter depending on which one at a time you want to compare. That's all it is for that one. Okay, I will assign something on Freckle for extra practice. I'm done assigning on Freckle for the week because I noticed some people still haven't logged on and I don't want them to be overwhelmed when they get back on, especially because we already have math worksheets due this week. I'm not going to do like everyday assignments on Freckle this week. It's just practice. Okay, so our next lesson is lesson 6-8, which is the area of, this is a weird word, it says rectilinear figures. Okay, that just means figures that have rectangle shapes in them. They're not made of any triangle, like diagonal, anything. It's always just square shapes. There's always the straight, not straight, sorry, the 90-degree right corners. So you can decompose these figures, is what we call it, into just rectangles, because remember, none of these are rectangles, but they're made up of rectangles, and then find the area of the figure. Okay, so we've been doing this in our 5-a-day, since before Christmas, before Thanksgiving. Okay, so here's how I'm gonna break up this one. I'm just gonna draw a line right here, because we just have to cut off the shapes, right? So then, I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I know this part's 12. Or I could think, okay, this is 3 across here and 4 down here. So 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, and then this little one is 2 times 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So 12 plus 4. So I'm going to write 16 units squared. Okay. You could also, I'm gonna grab a different marker, sorry. You could also chop it up this way if you want to, okay? So if I wanted to go this way, so this rectangle and this rectangle, any way that works for you. So this one would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'd have 3 times 2 here, okay? And then this one down here would be 2 again times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would have 6 up here and 10 down here, which would still get me 16 units squared. So any way you break it up is totally fine, up to you, as long as it's into rectangles that you can just simply multiply length and width. Okay, this one I just want to chop off right here because that looks like it would be the easiest spot. You could also go this way if you want to. You'll just get a little different counts on the inside. Sorry, I bumped my camera. Okay, so this rectangle is 1 unit high and 3 units wide, and I know 1 times 3, or I can simply count 1, 2, 3. This one's going to be 3 plus, and then this one is 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 times 4 gets me 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. After I double checked there, so 3 plus 8 is 11 units squared, or you can write square units. Either way, as long as you're not writing the squared after the number, you're fine. Okay, I had a lot of that happening in class, and we have to break that habit. Okay, so this one down here, you could break it here, or you could break it into 3 if you really wanted to. Maybe let's do that just for a challenge. So let's do this one and this one, even though that could be a big rectangle, right? But we just want to break it up for fun. Okay, so this one is 2 times 3 to find this area, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is a square. It's a 3-inch square. So I know 3 times 3 is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another way to do it. And this one is exactly the same as this one, just flipped or transformed over. Okay, so this one is also 6 because it's 3 times 2. So I could say 6 plus 9, which gets me 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 9 is 21. So 21 units squared. If you need to double check, just go count every single one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, I think we're getting the idea on this, so I'm just going to go through, just since we've done this so many times already in our 5-a-day math reviews, I'm not going to get into I'm not going to do more than just 6 reviews because I think this will be pretty easy for you. Okay, so this one I'm just going to go straight down here. If you want to cut it across this way, that's fine. If you want to split it into 3 rectangles, that's fine. That's totally up to you. Okay, so this one would be 1, 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one's 8 units. This one's 1, 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's 10. So 8 plus 10 equals 18 units squared. And then down here, I'm gonna cut this one off this way. So I have here 2 times 2 is 4, and then 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 times 4 is 8. So I'm just gonna add 4 plus 8 equals 12 units squared. And then this one, you could break this one up a lot of ways. I'm just gonna go straight like it's some stairs or something. Or like it's half of a layer cake. Oops, sorry. Like if you were to flip it this way. See what I'm saying there? Okay. This camera thing is very new to me. Okay, so this rectangle would be 1, 2, 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 times 4 is 12. This rectangle is 2 times 1, 2, 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. This rectangle is 1, 2 times 1, 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So right away I know that 6 plus 4 is 10. So I'm just going to write in 10 plus 12 equals 22 units squared. Okay, that's all you do here is just break these shapes into smaller rectangles that you can just use the area formula, which remember that is A equals length times width. Doesn't matter if you could even say width times length. Either way, you're going to get the same answer because of the rules of multiplication. So as long as you're adding up the areas of the smaller rectangles that you've broken your shape into, you should get the correct answer. And you can always double check it by just counting your squares. Let me know if you guys have any questions on that. Sorry, let me find. Okay, I didn't bring over your assignment with me to the couch, but it would just be the front homework side page of Unit 6, Lesson 8. And that should be everything for the week for the new lessons for math. Next week's lessons is just word problems with these, so I will record myself solving some of those, but you don't have to do any homework on those besides what I assign you on Freckle, okay? There's always practice you can do. We have word problems all the time in our 5-a-day reviews, so that should cover it, okay? All right, if you have any questions, please talk to me on Remind or email me, or we can do a video conference on Teams. I've done that with a few kids now to help out with review questions, anything we've done. So let me know. Have a good day. Happy Thursday.